From the team who took World Championship bronze in 2011. With veteran right winger Carmen Martin picking up an injury just before the championship. Lopez has started and is doing the heavy lifting on the wing, and she's doing well, in fairness. 25 goals, 66% success rate, with their top scorer is the left back Barbosa. So there is their coach, Carlos Viver. May not have been seen as one of the favourites to reach the semi-finals at the start, but when the likes of defending champions France failed to make it through the preliminary stages, Hungary dropped by the wayside as well. Well, suddenly the group started looking a little bit different. So Russia, Sen, what an amazing player she is, the captain. So 8 of the team come from the champions Rostov-Don, who are coached by Ambros Martin, as it happens, the national team coach, including the incredibly versatile Sen we saw at the beginning there. 24 goals, 63% success rate, 15 assists, 13 block shots, you name it. Team's top scorer is Frolova, though, the playmaker, their only recognised playmaker in the absence of the injured Dmitrieva. She's on 34 goals, with right winger Managarova just behind her on 33, including 12 fast breaks. Goalkeeper Kalinina picked up a tendon strain in the preliminary stages, is still out as Lagina covers for her. But Sidoikina will really need to step up to the plate today. She's just on a 29% save rate. So their coach, Ambros Martin, since August this year only, a Spaniard, up against fellow countrymen and women. And he coaches Rostov-Don as well, as I mentioned earlier. 8 of their players are here. So with the introductions made, the referees for today's game are from France. The twin sisters Charlotte and Julie Bonaventura actually refereed the final of the Women's World Championships in 2015. And also did the final of the London Olympic Games between Norway and Montenegro. In both cases, the Norwegians going off with a win. So the officials now being introduced, and at the back is Dragan Nachevsky of Macedonia, who is the main IHF official for this match. So it is now time for the national anthems.
National anthem of Spain.
Big cheer from some of the Spanish fans in the crowd here. And that would be the national anthem of Russia. Well, in the audience there is Yevgeny Trefilov, the former coach of the Russian team, who stepped down for health reasons earlier this year, hence Ambros Martin taking over just in August. So the teams swing around. Last played each other in 2015 at the World Championships in Denmark when Russia won 28-26. The last Spanish win a year before that at Euro 2014 when Spain won 25-24 on their way to taking silver at that championship. So this important game, Russia already through to the semi-finals. Spain could book their ticket with a draw here today. That's all they need. They are right behind them on 7 points. Sweden and Montenegro, the only other two teams really there, but Sweden are the only danger for Spain right now. Here's the Spanish lineup, a lot of experience and firepower at the back with Peña, Cabral, González and Fernández. Marta Lopez covering for the injured Carmen Martin, though, has been on good form. As has Hernández on the line, a huge danger. So for Carlos Viver, they can almost taste the semi-final. But before that, they've got to overcome this team here. They've tended to start with Sen, Vyakireva and Frolova at the back. Wingers are all on a high scoring rate, while Makieva has a big presence on the line. But in the absence of Kalinina, Sedokina needs a big game in goal. So for Ambros Martin, up against the Spaniards, he's going to have mixed emotions. So Nerea Peña, the playmaker for Spain, 29 goals so far in the competition, 19 assists. While Anna Sen, very versatile with her 24 goals. She's had 15 assists and 13 block shots. Absolutely key for the teams. We're just about ready. We are graced today, as you may have seen, by the presence of Her Imperial Highness Princess Tomohito of Mikasa in the audience here, as Spain in the red shirts throw off this main round match in Kumamoto, playing from left to right against Russia in the white shirts. A top-of-the-table clash. Russia already through to the semi-finals in main round Group 2 here in Park Dome. Spain needing just one more point. And they start with a flourish. Cabral, a long-range effort. The French pace player. Just what they needed to settle their nerves. Poor effort there by Frolova, trying to find Sen, who'd gone in on the line. And that was tipped away comfortably. And it was Cabral seeing enough daylight to put that ball through. Viver, some relief. Now, if Spain lose this match, then they will have an anxious wait to see if Sweden, who play in the last match today, can beat Montenegro. And it would then come down to goal difference in the overall group, because Spain and Sweden played out a draw. 2-0, the perfect start for Spain. Hernández, who's been such a big presence on the line for them. The Zuazo line player in her second World Championship. Lovely delivery by Peña. So we started out with 4 groups of 6 in the preliminary round. We now have 2 groups of 6. Just the top 2 teams in each group going through. The other group is wide open. Russia get off the mark finally, courtesy of Yaroslava Frolova, the Cuban playmaker. Cuts towards the middle, and González caught a bit flat-footed on defense. If you're going to go out, you've got to make contact. (6-0) defense, but they're pushing out. That was close. Got a fingertip on it. Managarova happy to come out, tries to lob the keeper. No luck there. And now Spain have to race back. Saved by Zogbidopola, who starts, but it's a penalty. And we may well have a 2-minute suspension. Pass down. 2 French referees who are sticklers for the rule of the law, and you do tend to see a fairly high proportion of 2-minute suspension. Jumping off the wrong foot, did very well indeed. Frolova with the penalty. She's scored 12 from 13 in the competition so far. And maintains an excellent record here. So Lopez, who's been sent off for 2 minutes for that last foul, takes a seat on the bench and watches. Asfarova, top scorer in the Russian team coming into this game, puts that penalty away. Cabral, long-range shot, clips the top of the bar, stays out. There's no goalkeeper in at the moment. Ball comes out quickly, but Zokbi de Paula is back in again, starting ahead of Navarro for the first time. Goalkeeper plays for Bistrita in Romania. They moved from Budućnost in Montenegro. Cuts through. 3-2 up. Vyakireva, who's had an up-and-down championship so far, gets her first. The MVP at the Rio Olympics and also the European Championships last year. Cutting through the defence there. Short-handed, it's tough to block all the gaps. Again, the goalkeeper comes out for Spain. They put on the extra attacker. Four minutes played, and after a good start, Spaniards have seen the Russians overhaul them. They're getting the goalkeeper back in now. And we have a yellow card. May well be for Makieva. Bit of an occupational hazard for the Russian line player, as the two Spanish coaches pace up and down. Cabral, long-range shot, empty goal. Straight down the middle like an eye, Sidoikina. Well, the Spaniards just couldn't get back quick enough. They were racing, but Zokbi de Paula was nowhere near. Ambros Martin can celebrate. 4-2, but at least Spain are back to full strength, and Zokbi de Paula is back in goal. Well, the goalkeeper, Sidoikina, has the satisfaction of knowing that she is joint second top scorer in her team at the moment. Russia on the break. Vyakireva, and the perfect response, and team timeout may well be required, and it is. Although she's hurt herself, Vyakireva is limping a bit. Cuts inside, let's see if we can see it. Did she take a knock?
No van a estar a la primera, no van a estar a la primera. Vamos a tener que jugar largo, me da igual las acciones combinadas que marquemos. Igualmente, vamos a probar a la tercera de la derecha. Metamos alguna circulación por aquí simple, ¿vale? Circulación por aquí simple con la pivota aquí colocada. A ver si podemos llevárnosla para tener ahí no hay un poquito abierta. Venga, vamos, va. El repliegue, tía.
España! Bien, bien. Pressing, I'm very good now. Remember that in counter-attack we do Russia. Run, okay? But after goal, only some moment. And some moment, no only.
На победу! Я пока не вхожу, потому что они все...
Real sense of urgency for Carlos Viver in his team timeout, as they've just conceded 5 goals without reply in 3.5 minutes. Play resumes then after the team timeout, already called after barely 5 minutes of play. Oh, nearly intercepted. Kuznetsova gets a hand on it, but knocks it out of play. Spain keep possession. A bit of a build-up. Peña in the centre, still Cabral. Gonzalez, who's had a good championship, comes around. She's gone to the left-hand side into the wing. That was close to interception, but finally they break a 5-goal run. And it's Marta Lopez, player who's being asked to cover for the injured Carmen Martin. Big loss for the team, Martin. Scored 651 goals for them. Picked up the foot injury just before, as Vyakireva well and truly has found the range here today. Breaking through a traditional run of the defender. They were sitting back a little bit too much. 6-3, good lead for Russia. So if Spain lose this match, they will have an anxious wait to see if Sweden, first of all, beat Montenegro in the last match today, but more importantly, what the goal difference is. At the moment, the Spaniards have a 6-goal difference better than the Spaniards, than the Swedes rather, but if they lose by a big margin here, then the Swedes will just need a simple victory. So they have to keep fighting. As we see a free throw there for the hard-working Hernandez on the line. Under the keeper, did well. Gonzalez gets her first goal, plays for Vulca in the Romanian league. Interception, Cabral. And scores, perfect response. Spain have woken up to Viver's relief. So 5-2 lead is now cut back to just a 1 goal with Cabral on the break. Cabral, who's the 6th top scorer in the French league, playing for Nantes. 54 goals this season, all but 1 from open play. Kuznetsova goes in on the line. Well, several players stumbling, and Frolova really couldn't help but accept the invitation. There's the stumble. Gonzalez tried to stop Makieva coming past, and instead the result was a big gap. 2-goal lead now for Russia. Hand off, Gonzalez. Nearly intercepted. Cabral strong enough. Sen sees the danger, knowing that Vyakireva is out and needs to plug the gap. And a thank you from Vyakireva. She goes back in again. Good vision by the captain. Gonzalez tries to go through, looks for the line, not connected. They're breaking forwards now. Cut inside. Pass from one sister to the other. Kuznetsova to Vyakireva. But in the end, the 2 sisters bring the ball back out and decide to build up. Kuznetsova, who scored 17 goals in the competition. One of the 8 players at Rostov-Don, along with her sister Anna Vyakireva and Sen, amongst others, and the goalkeeper Sedoikina. Brilliant. Well, that's a thank you for blocking the defense earlier and plugging the gap, as Vyakireva tees up Anna Sen for her first goal. Sen, who scored 329 goals coming into this championship. She's now well past the 350. So, having got back to just 5-6 down, it's 5-8 again now. The Russians react quickly. Gonzalez into the wing. That's a poor pass. Saw that the number 2 defender had moved out a long way. So Managarova comes off for the moment. And Russia put on Fomina onto the right wing. Russian wing on the far side, who's had a long break from the national team. And on the left wing comes Kozukar, 25-year-old, playing in her first World Championship. Tries a low shot, Vyakireva sails past the face of the goal, but she gets an applause from Ambros Martin for the try and the block to create the space. 10-minute mark is passed with Russia leading 8-5. Ball is free on the line. It's a free throw, though, for Hernandez. Plays for Zuazo, down in 11th place in the Spanish league. Switch back, Pina. Ball is lost. Well, Pina, I thought, went down early. Sen shakes her hand. She went down before. There was virtually no contact, and I have a huge amount of sympathy. She did get there eventually, but she'd lost the ball. Gonzalez. Well, from that angle, maybe a touch, but an easy drop. It had the desired result, and now it's a power play for Spain. Oh, good block. And Russia have it. Kozokar got in first. And a careless pass into the wing. Intended for Lopez. Much too close. Kozokar did step into the area, but not before she touched the ball. Or when she was out to pick it up again, almost from the shock, I think, of seeing the opportunity. Kozokar switches. Frolova will come around now. Frolova, it's in. 4 goals already for the 22-year-old who plays for Kuban Krasnodar. And a 1-goal lead stretched back to 4. Spain had reacted so well after the team timeout. Third right back, on comes Rodriguez. Plays for Thüringen in the German Bundesliga. 39 and her first shot into the keeper and off to the side. So far, so good. Had a little bit of space, but she was under a lot of pressure, but saw enough. And there was so much room on the near post. So the Russians take out the goalkeeper while they're short-handed. Into the line. Tries to get the shot away, it doesn't work. So Frolova drives in. Diakireva on one of those darting runs. Then comes Bobrovnikova, who's come in, and they're finding gaps on both sides. The Spanish defense, a little like yesterday, I'm afraid, is really not holding water here. Quick switch back the other way, all the way round, and it just needed a hefty block there, but it didn't come. And the gap is growing again in a match where Spain need 1 point at least to be sure of their semi-final place. Shot, that wasn't a great one, straight down the middle. The follow-up is saved. Hernandez dived in, but just couldn't get enough power. Tried to pick the ball up and shoot before she landed. And Viver deep in thought. And so far, so good. Sedorkina showing us 2 saves. I think that's doing her down a bit. She's had a few more than that. I tell you, the other group is wide open with Norway, Germany, the Netherlands and Serbia all in contention for a semi-final place. That's a wild pass straight over Sen. Throw in for Spain and a bit of a let-off. Look to the bench, Frolova, to see just how much trouble she's in. In Trefilov's day, she'd have had an earful by now, but Ambros Martin's different style means that it all stays quiet on the bench. Looking for the line, good play. And when in doubt, sit on them. Seems to be the mantra. Bobrovnikova tries to go through. That's defending inside the area. And they win the penalty. Having to work hard for it. And well inside, Zielinski. Clatters in the line player. So Cabral, who scored 14 penalties from 17. And scores this one as well. 3rd goal of the game. They needed that because it has been nearly 8 minutes since they last scored. And the penalty is won, the industrious Sen. To say, you've got to admire, she does everything in the team. She's a hard defender, she blocks well. Has lots of assists, that's comfortably put away by Frolova. 2nd penalty of the game, her 14th in the competition. Relatively new Frolova to the team, 28 matches and 32 goals. Pressed into mainstream action here because of the injury to Dmitrieva. Oh dear, and Sidoikina has gone down heavily. There will be huge concerns, not only just for her well-being, but for the fact that the Russians are the main keeper here. Kalinina is injured straight into the face at point-blank range. Fernandez goes in to apologize. You've got to be made of tough stuff to be in goal. Sidoikina, who's past the 150 international mark and is in her 4th World Championship, stays in goal. That'll be a free throw. Russia have the record 7 times winners of the World Championship, and in fact Sidoikina, the goalkeeper we just saw, and number 19, the line player Makieva, the only 2 players remaining from the last time they won it in 2009. Goes for the lob, and Sidoikina has her wits about her and gets a long pass, slightly too long. It's kept in play, but under pressure from Cabral, it's a free throw. Fomina had to really run after that one. So Malashenko, who's on, ball's given away unfairly, say the referees, while stepping inside the area. Lopez remonstrates, but French referees unmoved. Russia, of course, may well want to win this to make sure they play the runner-up of the other group rather than the winner. Switch back again, looks to the line, good play. Fomina, the right winger, had come round as an extra line player. A couple of quick passes and then Cabral just wasn't staying close to her. You have to be in front. And Navarro, who's just come in goal, to replace Zogby de Paula a few minutes ago, is getting exactly the same treatment. Zogby de Paula, who made 0 saves from 9, Navarro on 0 from 3. A 6-goal lead, 18.5 minutes into this game. Into the wing, bit of space there, saved again, although I'm not sure she knew too much about it. Straight into the body, I think. Still count as save number 6 for Sidoikina. Back come the Russians. Lopez bundles over Kozokar. Now Sidoikina is playing that big game she needed in the Russian goal with a 45% save rate. Sen trying to find a way through. Good defending this time by Cabral. Drives in, Bobrovnikova. Off the post, lucky break for the Spaniards. The miss by Malashenko. Cabral tries to go in, looks for the line. Solid defending by the Russians. It's like hitting a brick wall. Both Cabral and Hernandez can find no way through that. She tries to release to the line player. Bobrovnikova wasn't having it. And she got help from Zilinskite. 1m80, 1m85, the 2 central defenders for the Russian team. It's a formidable lineup there. Cabral, though, finds a way this time. 4th goal. Cabral, who's passed the 550 goal mark for her country, that goes wide. And suddenly, Russia misfiring. Sen apologizes to the bench as she runs past. Cabral, though, planted it beautifully. And he's almost saying, why can't that always happen? Well, at the moment, still the Russians have a good lead. And we have about 10 minutes remaining in this first half. That was nearly intercepted. Very, very risky pass. Under the nose of Bobrovnikova. She can't get through. Hernandez, who's got a bit of pace on her. Lovely darting runs, but didn't really manage them yesterday against Japan. Hasn't quite found a way here. An awkward bounce for Sidoikina. And Peña is up on her feet, congratulating Almudena Rodriguez, who gets her first. Little handoff, and Rodriguez comes around looking for a little bit of space. Player who is in Germany, playing for Thüringen. We're back within 4 as a change on the right back position, and Gorshenina comes on. And again off the post, and it's broken nicely for Spain. And put away. Soledad Lopez. First goal of the game for the left winger. And Spain are slowly but surely clawing their way back. (6-12) has now become 9-12. That's an attacking foul. Cabral is down the middle. And that's off the post as well. And the metalwork seeing a lot of action here in the Park Dome today. Did well, though, to force Cabral wide. It helped that the pass wasn't particularly good. But the defender just left her to it from a tighter angle. And again off the post. Goalkeeper got a touch on it, though. Navarro played her 200th international while out here at the World Championships. Navarro. She, together with Peña, the only 2 remaining players from that bronze medal team of 2011 at the World Championships. Hand off. Bobrovnikova to the line. Makieva. First goal for the powerful Rostov-Don line player. Scored 35 goals for Rostov-Don already this season. Makieva in the Russian league. Applause on the bench. So Ambros Martin turning the bench quite well. Mind you, so for that matter, is Carlos Viver, but maybe not quite with the results he wants at the moment. Cabral. Rodriguez looking for the line. That's comfortably intercepted. Looks up court. There's nothing there for Kuzuka. And they'll run it up now. Try and catch the Spaniards before they settle. Gorshenina gets a free throw. And the change again as back on comes Vyakireva. She's had an up-and-down championship, but it's been a good start to the game for her. She scored 3 goals during her first 13-minute spell on court. And Kuznetsova has also returned in on the left wing, her sister. Hammer blow. Gorshenina absolutely blasted that. And for Navarro, that would have just felt like a draft. 83 kilometers an hour. Ambros Martin happy with that as they start to put a little more air again, having scored 3, or conceded rather 3 without reply. Cabral, Rodriguez, Hernandez, who's struggling to make a mark on this game with the pace. That's nice by Cabral. Penalty, defending inside the area. Gorshenina puts her hand up and says, my fault. Again, a little shimmy in front. Let her get past her, and after that they were in trouble. Carried on holding from the back. Change the keeper. In comes Lagina, who came in for the injured Kalinina. Hasn't saved any yet. And still hasn't. Hernandez scores her 10th penalty of the championship. It brings up double digits almost on the stroke of 25 minutes played. Sidoikina back in goal. Talking to Ambros Martin yesterday, they still have a hope that they'll get Kalinina back. It's a distended ligament she's got, the other goalkeeper. Ironically, having stopped in the preliminary stage because of the injury, she's still the top-rating goalkeeper with a 48% save rate. No way through, and a team timeout now for Russia. Ambros Martin takes the break. Let you listen in.
Listen, let's play. Change the position here. Change the position here. We are in passive. Change the position here. Pass, attack really strong. Make that you also attack.
Acciones de ataque, metemos 9 por la derecha, donde zurda parte desde el centro. Hacemos el 9, devuelves el balón al centro y te desdoblas entre 1 y 2. Te desdoblas, te metes dentro, ¿vale? Venga, vamos.
Venga, va. España.
Can play, and there is the pass.
Ambros Martin, who was coaching Romania up until 4 months ago. At that time, he was also coaching Rostov-Don, the club in Russia. And when Trefilov had to step down on health grounds, he seemed the obvious choice. Didn't please the Romanians too much, who were lucky to be able to find the former coach Thomas Ruud, the Swede, still available. Yakireva, who's had a great start today. So play resumes after Russia take their first team timeout. There's a passive play call. They've got to take a quick shot. Exactly what's needed on cue with 1 pass remaining. Groshenina scores her second. 82 kilometers an hour, that one. 5-goal lead restored with about 4 minutes of the first half remaining. So Fernandez comes to the right back position. She'll switch back again. Almunera Rodriguez slips in. Cabral. There's no way through there. Cesareo is on the line. Viver, who changes quite a bit between Cesareo and Hernandez. Fernandez calls the move, but there's a passive play call against them now. They've got about 4 passes left. Cabral. Oh, lovely play through, and saved by Siroikina. And poor old Fernandez did all the hard work and comes away empty-handed. So with that attempt on goal and that save and the throw-in, the passive play call goes, and Spain have a bit more time. Cesareo drops back in on the line. Looking to pass straight to the line. Seen as a pass back, and it's going to be a free throw. Kuznetsova. She was inside. Well inside the last 3 minutes of the first half now. Cabral straight through, and a penalty, and Gorsenina caught out twice now by Cabral. Poor old Kuznetsova trying to step in to block, but she's got a holder. She knew she didn't really want a 2-minute suspension. So once again, Fernandez, who scored the last one, steps up. No change in goal this time, but the same result. Second penalty scored for Fernandez, and they're back to within 4. Reaction at the other end from Gonzalez. Not enough power on that one. Back they come. Fernandez looks to run into the wing. There's a big angle now. He's trying to force the lob way too much. And Soledad Lopez comes away empty-handed. 1 from 4 for the winger. And Siroikina will be happy, but Soledad Lopez, I'm afraid, with only a 50% scoring rate, which isn't good for the wing. Problems are mounting for Viver on the left. Gorsenina not made a mark on the game yet. Yakireva tries to go through. She'll get the free throw. Shot's gone wide. So two teams who finished top of their respective preliminary round groups. And are the only two unbeaten teams in the tournament, although Spain have dropped 1 point in a draw against Sweden. Vyakireva again, no power. Gorsenina is racing off. She's been taken off defensive duties now after those lapses against Cabral. Sen has been brought in. And that's an attacking foul. Immediately Sen makes her presence felt. Just got there early enough to get the call. Into the wing. And Navarro kindly lifts her leg, and as she does so, Managarova pops the ball in underneath. Got about 20 seconds of the first half remaining. 5-goal lead, and Spain will look to try and get 1 goal back at least, make the task a little less for the second half. Cabral, beautiful, right up in the corner. Spectacular 5th goal for her, and there's no time to do anything else. And that is the last goal of the first half. And so at the break, it's Russia 16, Spain 12. So there was that superb last one, 80 kilometers an hour, right up in the corner. So Cabral with 5, top scoring for the Spaniards. Cedo Equina has played a big game in goal with 7 saves, and I actually suspect she's been left off a couple of others from early on. She's playing a big game in goal. But it's a match that Spain needed the draw, at least, as Viver as ever sits on the bench, has a quick chat before going in. His assistants, Jose Prades and Robert Cuesta, trying to find some solutions here. They've got a real conundrum on their hands, the Spaniards, because defensively the Russians have been finding a way through, and it's only because they've gone off the boil late in the first half that it hasn't got worse. 62% of the attacks working for the Russians, 67% of their shooting, and that's the top draw for the competition. 43% only on the shooting for the Spaniards. Turnovers fairly low, 6 for Spain, 4 for Russia, but it really is the fact that only 44% of the attacks for Spain are resulting in goals. Frolova, the top scorer for the Russians, with 5 goals. Vyakireva started well on 3, but has gone a bit off the boil. Cabral with 5 goals, including a spectacular last-ditch effort at the end of the first half. So for Spain, 1 fast break missed. All 3 penalties have gone in. The left wing having a bit of a nightmare with Soledad Lopez. The right wing has done all right with Marta Lopez. Otherwise, it's down the middle with the odd long-range shot from Cabral. For the Russians, just the 1 fast break. Both penalties scored as well. A lot down the middle, but the wings have had some service, and when they have, they've been efficient with it. But most of it has been breakthroughs for them so far in this game. So it was a good start by Spain, 2-0 up, and then they got absolutely blasted, and they were 5-2 down. And the Russians built up to a 6-goal lead. And then at the end there, the Spaniards are hanging on and have managed to keep it within range. So at half-time here in Kumamoto, Russia leads Spain 16-12. We're going to take a break as well. Join us again for the second half. We'll see you then. So welcome back to the Park Dome in Kumamoto at half-time in this main round, Group 2 match at the Women's Handball World Championships. We're at the business end of the competition. The final day of matches in the main round, and Spain in need of a draw here to be certain of a semi-final place here at these World Championships. But at the moment, they are trailing Russia 16-12. Ambros Martin, the Spanish coach of the Russian team, so far has got it right. For the Spaniards, who throughout this competition have shied away from some long-range shooting. But they've really got to step up and do that, because they're trying to take on the Russians at 6 meters. And that is never going to be particularly fruitful. Hence, they're down on 50% scoring rate from their current average of 64. So we're just waiting for the clock to run down. And the second half to get underway for the Russians, who are on a 100% record here in this competition. Haven't always been on full form, but they've always done enough. So Russia throw off the second half of this Group 2 main round match at the Women's Handball World Championships, leading Spain 16-12. A win, or even for that matter a draw for Russia, will make sure they finish top and play the runner-up of Group 2. Penalty right from the off, and as ever, Anna Sen, who can play left back, right back, even on the line, dives inside and then spins off Hernandez. Oh, Navarro touched it, but Frolova scores. It's a third penalty of the game. The Cuban playmaker. Yeah, fingertips. Spain really need to get those long-range shots in. They're trying to take on the Russians at point-blank range at 6 meters, find a way through, but the Russian defense is tight. Cabral has certainly got that long-range shot if she turns her mind to it. We've seen it. Needs to use it more frequently. At the moment, the Spaniards down on a 50% success rate with their shooting. They win the free throw at least here, courtesy of that drive by Fernandez, who plays for Vulca in Romania, currently leading the league there. So does number 19, Gonzalez, actually play for that club. Second line going in. Oh, well, how lucky is that? The ball, quite literally, was thrown straight at the Russian defender. She couldn't hold it. It bounced off her and went into Gutierrez. Yakireva starts again, and he gets a free throw on that one. Looks around to the referee and goes, thought that might be a 7-meter. Let's see. She is being held from behind as she drives through to the line. Bit of a let-off then for Spain. Cuts inside again. No mistake this time. Takes out her frustration on the goal instead. Yakireva, who started the competition very, very slowly and was sluggish in attack, but had a lot of assists. She's an amazing player, but she's beginning to find form, and Ambros Martin very happy with that. Good save, and the break is on. Managarova is away, tees up the wing. That's nice. Kuznetsova finishes it. Carlos Viver frustrated. But for Sedorikina, that was the 8th save to tee up this goal for Kuznetsova. So for the moment, the Russians staying in control. They're leading 3-1 in the second half after the first goal by the Spaniards. Around comes Gutierrez again. She's staying in as a second-line player. Cabral. If there's a second-line player, they've got to take those long-range shots. Oh, she tries and wins the penalty. But again, a lucky rebound. And Spain have been given a lot of breaks. Yakireva, I can't believe it. There's the block initially by Makieva. And it comes straight into the hands of Cabral. So Cabral will take the penalty. No help from Sedorikina to return the ball. And no obligation to do so. Cabral, who's scored 1 in the game so far. 15 in the competition. Oh, and she saves that one too. Sedorikina's 4th save. 4 penalty saves at these World Championships now for the Russian keeper. She needed a big game today. Lifted the leg, but then brought it back down again. And that's save number 9, 43% save rate. Chance goes begging for Spain. Yakireva again. Oh, she's on the run now. She's back at her best. 5 from 7, 71% success rate and 2 assists. And of course, the argument was they hadn't played their best yet, the Russians, but they hadn't needed to. No goal there. Yakireva holds her own. And Hernandez comes away empty-handed. 5 minutes played. The lead has grown in the second half. The Russians very quick to put bodies in front on the run. Doing very well indeed. And Carlos Viver wondering, am I going to call a team timeout here, or do I keep plugging away into the line? Ah, did well. Hernandez under a lot of pressure turned and just lobs it over Sedorikina's shoulder for her 2nd goal from 4 attempts. Kuznetsova comes around. She'll move back into the wing now. Doesn't have to worry too much because Frolova, playmaker, shifted left and finds a way around the outside of the defense. Little shimmy and the defender just didn't hold, and a good run by the winger to take away the outside defender. 6 minutes played and it's a 5-2 exchange for the Russians. Long-range shot again. They're coming in too close. They seem hesitant to shoot. Rodriguez can if she wants to. But they are facing a very tall Russian defense. But it's been a problem throughout the competition for the Spaniards, who preferred to break through rather than go for the long-range shot. Looks to the line. Well, somehow smuggled through to Hernandez. That was a nice pass. There it was by Fernandez. But at the other end, almost relentlessly, the Russians continue. Feed back and straight down the middle. The defense is split open. And Frolova could have taken a bus down the middle. Our poor old goalkeeper's having a day to forget for Spain. 0 from 9 for Zogby de Paula, as that's a turnover for the Russians. Long pass down. Oh, did incredibly well. Kuznetsova caught the ball and had to shoot instantly because the pass a little too long by Sedorikina. Bounces, catches and shoots. And poor old Navarro got a hand on it, but Sedorikina says, well done. That wasn't a great supply, but you did the job in the end. And the gap is growing. Piña is back on again. Can she kickstart things for the Spaniards? They're being a little bit battered here. No way through for Cabral. Peña, who played just 10 minutes in the first half before being replaced, didn't manage a single shot on goal. 2 assists. Cabral, big space, tries the lob, and 3 times in the game they've gone for the lob. And it seemed like the easy option, but Kuznetsova is fouled as the ball goes out. Cabral was still down, but seems okay. She's got up and ambles off. Let's have a look and see. A little bit of a tap on the way in. It was on the chest, but she's back on. So Ambros Martin, just have mixed emotions really. The Spanish coach of the Russian team, as Frolova, who's having an incredible game here, finds a way through the middle. She's on 42 goals now in this competition. And Russia are just powering away, and Spain in attack have absolutely no answer. They need to get some long-range efforts in. Looking for the line, that's intercepted. When they try and play that close in, the Russians will just eat them up. Managarova cuts inside. And there's the 10-goal lead. And finally, team timeout called by Spain as we see the interception by Makieva. Quick pass across court, that was superb.
Vamos a mantener la vista sobre zurda, ¿vale? Pero hay que intentar aguantarnos unos contra unos, se nos están yendo a la primera. A la primera, no es que esté habiendo ningún trabajo más, ninguna, ¿vale? Vamos con la extremo, con la exterior de la izquierda, con mixta sobre zurda. Y a partir de ahí intentar aguantar sobre todo sobre Frelova los unos contra unos, ¿vale? En situaciones...
We play the impares and 1 against 2. But we need to close and stay in the good distance when they try the 1 by 1. Here, here, or here. And ready on the pass line to the pivot. Okay?
Well, opponents are warned against the Russians. The closest anyone has come to them so far in this competition was Romania in the opening day of the main round. They lost by 9. As we see Her Imperial Highness Princess Tomihito of Mikasa in the audience. The Russians have just stepped up their game every time they've needed to, when they could turn the bench and just take it easy. They appear to do so, but they still rack up the goals. They're still relentlessly strong across the entire bench. And I'm afraid the back line's suffering dreadfully here for the Spaniards. That's more like it. Mireia Gonzalez gets her second. They scored 29 goals for Vulca in Romania this season. The ball is loose, picked up by the Spaniards. They've got it out. Cabral looks up, but the only winger, Lopez, is being too closely marked to pass to. Cabral, and a rare moment of getting one up on the Russians there. So fingernails getting shorter for Viver. For Martin, so far so good. 10 minutes played and a 9-goal lead for Russia. Turnover. Fomina's gone off quickly. Good play. Took one for the team there, Gonzalez. Propped herself up in front of Makieva and waited for the impact. Another attacking foul, and they're really running out of ideas, and it's Gonzalez. She's trying everything at the moment. She's had the breakthroughs. At that time, the gap was well and truly closed by Kozuka, and Frolova crashes into them. And Viver frustrated now on the bench. So change of tactic at the bottom of the picture. Vyakireva is now being individually marked by Gutierrez. It still doesn't stop the drive. Fomina, the right winger, who for some of you of my generation may remember her as Cherno Ivanenko, her maiden name. In the 3rd World Championship. Scores a 2nd goal, and the 10-goal lead restored for Russia. Cabral. They're just not standing back. They're starting a little too close to even get the long-range efforts. That's won a penalty, though. And at the moment, it's the Mireia Gonzalez show on the Spanish side. She's instigating everything. Cuts inside, and this time both defenders were well inside, even before the impact. Peña. Siroikina touches it, but you don't get any points for that. And Peña gets her first goal of the game from the 7-meter line. Peña's 12th penalty of the competition. Plays for Siófok in Hungary. And again, they find their way through. Drives straight down the middle, and Mikhailichenko has finally been brought on. Empty goal for Spain. Pushing up. It's as if they're happy to ignore the wingers, but then the service hasn't been there. That's over the line. Oh, Hernandez. When the chances do come, they're wasted. Good save. Zogby de Pola has come back in again. Navarro with just 3 saves from 20 and immediately makes the save. And that's pull one back, courtesy of Marta Lopez, the right winger. He plays together with Fernandez and Gonzalez at Vulca in Romania. Went the right way, but too late. Ilya Ronova has come on, and they will and truly are turning the bench. 2 players making their debut for Russia at major competitions. The ball is loose, it's picked up. Malashenko looks up. So Ilya Ronova, line player, who plays for Zvezda, been used in defense a lot. She's in on the line. And Mikhailichenko, who's seen as one of the new big stars of Russian handball. At left back, just 18 years of age. Yakireva into the wing. Bit of space there, nothing given. Got Messi, needed to bring the ball back out, Russia, that time. Got themselves a little bit cornered and tried to force it. Zogby de Pola makes her first save from 10 shots. The ball goes wide, but it's picked up. Still with Spain. I'm afraid the shooting for Spain not improving any. 50%. And they've taken out the goalkeeper. They resorted now to attacking with 7 against 6. Saved. Siroikina's 12th save. Ball quickly put out. Sen looks up. No opportunities there. And we're midway through the half. Reacted very well indeed. The Rostov-Don keeper, playing in her 4th World Championship. As I mentioned earlier, gold medal winner at the World Championships in 2009 with line player Makieva. The last time they stepped on the top of the podium. Oh, fumbled away. Malashenko, and the break is on. And nicely scored by Gutierrez, her 2nd. Mini comeback by Spain. Quick 1-2, and then she could race all the way down. The winger who plays for Elche Mustang. Top scorer Gutierrez in the Spanish league with 57 goals. So Malashenko in the center. Yakireva, think of her as a veteran these days. She's only 24, but already she's scored some 380 goals for Russia. That's nicely done. First goal of the game for Elizaveta Malashenko. Plays for Astrakhanotchka. Cut through. So with the bench celebrating again, 7 against 6. The goalkeeper is out. That's worked. Rather tired legs, it seems, almost on Cesario. They've managed to get the goalkeeper back in quickly. Lovely pass into the line. Quick turn and underneath the leg of the keeper. Sen goes off. Gorshenina now comes on. Didn't have a great first spell on court. That's gone out of play. Mikhailishenko. 18-year-old youngest in the team, just struggling a little early on here. It's tough when you come in cold. Peña into the wing, but such a lofted pass. Not a lot of space there. The pass to the line doesn't connect. Empty goal. It's gone wide this time. Rather wry smile from Sidoikina, who scored one earlier, but not this time. Zokbi de Paula races off again. Straight to her legs. Pulled it. Zokbi de Paula racing in. Ambros Martin. Wry smile. So again, 7 against 6. Into the wing, big space now. Oh, lobbed wide. Sidoikina not racing too much now, and they've got the goalkeeper back in. Lovely pass into her. Little backflip. Teed her up well. But Marta Lopez this time doesn't connect at all. So Malashenko shifts to the right. That's nicely done. Zilinskite. And they're just not closing the gap. They've stemmed the tide to some extent, the Spaniards, but Russia still very much in control here in Kumamoto. Penalty, defending inside the area, and probably a 2-minute suspension. And I'm afraid Gorshenina's miserable game continues. Two-minute suspension. Peña lobs it over. Sidoikina came a long way forwards, as far forwards as she was allowed, actually. Up at the 4-meter line. It's tall keeper, 185. Something at least for the Spanish fans to cheer. 13th penalty scored then in this championship for Peña, as Sen returns to the attack in the right back position this time. Right-hander, but she does play there, even for her club. Attacking foul. Arm up, says the referee. Empty goal, but they've given it straight back. You got to watch the bench as well when you do that. Sidoikina was well in, and Lopez passing the ball effectively to the keeper rather than shooting there. So while they've got the suspension, the Russians have also taken out their keeper. Malashenko, empty goal again. They haven't got the keeper in now, and this time they didn't look up. So ironically, do it when they shouldn't, and they shouldn't. Oh, don't do it when they should have done, but luckily for them, they bring the ball up and finish it off at point-blank range. Seems to be their comfort zone at the moment. Nerea Peña with a third. Comes out very quickly, the keeper, and plants herself a little bit towards the center. We're into the last 10 minutes. Sen. A good shake of Mikhailishenko, trying to get the change out of her pocket, but it's a team timeout for Russia. We have a little listening to Ambros Martin.
Only 10 seconds. Only 10 seconds. Just move the ball. Come open. Come open. And you start the cross with Anna. Anna here and pivot in the middle and play here the 2x2 full power. If foul is good. If foul is good.
Que te ofrezcas por delante, ¿vale? ¿De acuerdo? Venga, no paramos. Sí, dale, vamos.
España. Bien, coño, bien.
Change here and Korea. ¿De acuerdo? But we need to go directly on the goal.
¿Ya va enviando?
10 minutos.
Well, a workmanlike performance here by the Russians, who've put in a good shift. Iver just hasn't found the solutions on the bench. But for Ambros Martin, his team have delivered to the extent that he's now turned the bench and put on quite a few of the youngsters. Mikhailichenko has only had 52 minutes of court time. Ilyaronova, 1 hour and 33. And Gorshenina is getting a bit of a run out as well, and her suspension just served out as the goalkeeper goes back in again. Passive play into the line, beats Zokpidopula. Ilyaronova with the first goal of the game, the 20-year-old. He plays for Zvezda Zvenigorod. Cesareo comes in as they attack 7 against 6. She's there with Hernandez on the other side. Really want to try and split this defense and open a bit of space down the middle, especially since they seem to prefer to get in close into the line. Cesareo can't turn. Solid defending as ever. And she feels the full impact of Malashenko. Got the ball, free throw. Peña into the wing, bit of an angle, saved. Goes out to the back, it's a goalkeeper ball. At least with the ball going wide, it allows time to get the keeper back in. And Lopez comes away empty-handed. 2 from 4 now, having started well. And the Russians have changed goalkeeper now. Anastasia Lagina will replace Sedoikina. Her first major competition. They're trying to push a bit deeper at the front. Cesareo making it look at times like a 5-1. Cabral sneaks the ball away from under the nose of Fomina. Cabral started it and finished it. Good play by the 33-year-old. Races away, nice one-handed catch and shoots. Cabral, who actually did play in Russia for a while, for Rostov-Don, before moving to Nantes in France. Be up against a few of her old friends and teammates here. Cuts towards the middle. Long-range shot saved by Zokpidopula. Not a great one there by Mikhailichenko. Oh, and a poor pass by Cabral. Right at the feet of Gonzalez. And that was pretty poor. I'm afraid they have run out of steam, the Spaniards. Viver, I think, knows it. And if they are going to lose this match, as appears to be the way it's going, that's an attacking foul. They will be hoping then that Montenegro can at least take a point off Sweden in the last match today. That will be the do-or-die match for the Swedes. If they can, the Montenegrins, then Spain will still make it through to the semi-final. The hope otherwise will be that Montenegro so penalty one. You can see cuts inside. Well, defender was inside the area even before. So Lagina hasn't saved any penalties from 2 taken so far against her. Up against Peña. And she maintains a 100% at the 7 meters. 4th goal of the game, 2nd penalty. Now from 10 goals down, Spain are now just 6 goals down. It's always a bit of a question for the coaches when you turn the bench. How early do you do it? You want to give the young players a good run out, but if they struggle too much and you start losing traction, it's hard for the other players to come back on and get going again. But that will certainly help with Mikhailichenko's confidence, with a cracking shot right up in the corner at 82 kilometers an hour. 3rd goal for her. Into the wing. Good save, Lagina. First of the game from 4 shots. Anastasia Lagina, who plays for Lada Togliatti, currently second in the Russian league, covering for Kalinina. It's gone straight through, and she's got an open goal. And she gets a goal too. And that's not amusing at all for the Spaniards, I'm afraid. Well, when you play 7 against 6, as they've been doing now for a good, 10, 12 minutes, and still doing, that's the chance you take with the empty goal. Fernandez coming, that was nearly an interception. Nicely lobbed over the top. Well, she's been so industrious, Mireia Gonzalez. 3rd goal. But Russia are just running the clock down here. Goes for the shot, it's still in play. Good save, I'm sure she got a hand on it. Zogbidapola. Only 3rd save from 16 shots. And over the head of the keeper. And that's the 2nd for Alicia Fernandez. 1st from open play. Cut around, quick release, and there was a bit of space there. They've managed to keep it close, given that they started the day with a 6-goal difference better than the Swedes. It would have helped. So the Spaniards know the goal difference could count if they could close the gap, but they need to close it by at least that 6 goals. And a team timeout for Spain. You see that last action again.
Matías, escuchar una cosa, ya no es el resultado, es intentar bajar a menos de 5. Hay que intentarlo al menos, ¿vale? Hay que trabajar por eso. Las situaciones de 7 contra 6 están bien trabajadas, hay que acabarlas, ¿vale? Venga, no paremos hasta el final.
¡Vamos! ¡Venga, un par de goles, tío! ¡Vamos!
¡Bien, coño, bien!
Just good pass. If you receive the pressing, no problem. Don't go, okay? Just spokojna. Move the ball and we play 1 by 1 in the middle. Go!
So, Spain really struggling here with only just over 2 minutes remaining. At least if they could reduce the deficit by 3 goals now, but it's hard to see them doing it, but who knows? Because if they lose by 6 or more, then Sweden just need a win. Had it been less than that, then Sweden would have had to work on the goal difference as well. That's too many steps. Empty goal, and this time it's good. Sen, the scorer, for her 2nd of the game. Sen says, give me the ball, and the goalkeeper could just watch it go in. Again, the keeper is out. Peña, Fernandez, Gonzalez into the wing, and another empty goal shot coming off the post, and it dies in the area. They're going to have to wait for the rather wry look from Kozuka. And Zogbidapola has to come because the ball died in the area with all the resin on it, to just pick it up and throw it back in play and go straight back off again as they resume with a 7 against 6. Attacking foul, empty goal again. Oh yes, 2nd goal of the game, Sedoikina. Oh, sorry, what am I saying? Lagina. Oh dear, that's not so good. Well, if anything, at least Lagina is outscoring Sedoikina on the goals scored. She's got 2, Sidoikina's got 1. But Sidoikina gets the bragging rights by virtue of 13 saves. An empty goal. They decide not to take the long shot. 25 seconds to go to the end of the game. And I'm afraid for Spain, well, it all hinges on Montenegro doing them a huge favour at the end of today. At least, though, their chances of being in the Olympic playoff remain. Top 4 finish required to stay in contention there, as the Russians appear to have the last word. Malashenko scores, and that is it. A 10-goal win. Ambros Martin goes over to his compatriot Carlos Viver for a handshake. But here in Kumamoto, it's Russia 36, Spain 26. So for Spain, an anxious afternoon looms ahead as they wait for the match after the next one. They have to sit through Japan against Romania first. For Russia, job done, a 100% record maintained right the way through to the end of the main round. And it was clinical. The Spaniards, who tried to break through a defense that's been solid all through the championship, and they were always going to struggle with that. And on top of everything else, they found Sidoikina on excellent form in goal. So the player of the match about to be awarded. Oh, nice touch. Sidoikina with her 13 saves and a goal to boot. And Yevgeny Trefilov gets to join in the photo, the former coach of the Russian team that Ambros Martin took over from, and a smile all round. And Russia, who already knew they were in the semi-final, Trefilov, who still has a function within the Russian Federation, but stepped down on health grounds, absolutely delighted. Yakireva, who played for 31 minutes and scored 5 goals, also put in a great shift. But frankly, Frolova also got 9 goals today. The Russians step up when they need to. They just seem to manage things perfectly. And so in the end, with a 70% success rate on their shooting, they still have the best in the competition. 59% on the attack. Spain, under 50% on their shooting, was always going to hurt them. Roughly the same, 4 fast breaks each, but in the end, Spain with 18 turnovers paid the price. Russia had 13 turnovers. And on the penalties, well, there was just the 1 miss on both sides. So top scorers, well, Cabral got 6 for Spain and Peña 4, but Frolova outscored them all with 9, with a great game by her, and Vyakireva having a good day here with her 5 goals. Spain managed fast breaks, at least in the second half, and then 6 penalties scored from 7. Still a lot of their scoring, though, is going in at point-blank range, going into the 6-meter line, off the line play on breakthroughs. The wing on the left-hand side still struggling, Soledad Lopez. On the right, it was going well in the first half for Marta Lopez, but then she went off the boil, but no long-range efforts really to speak of. For the Russians, 4 fast breaks and 3 penalties, put all that away neatly. Breakthroughs at the middle, and they had a few long-range shots, but they came rather later from Mikhailishenko. And then on the wings, well, they didn't get a huge amount of service in the second half, but then they didn't need it because they were finding gaps straight down the middle. So in the second half, it started very slowly, and then suddenly the Russians pulled away. And then at about the 14th minute, they'd opened up a 10-goal lead. The Spaniards hung on after that, but in the end, a flurry of goals for the Russians restored that 10-goal lead. And so Spain have to wait and hope that Montenegro, who play last there against Sweden, will do them a favour and at least take a point off the Swedes so they can go through. That's how tight it is. But Russia sit at the top with a maximum 10 points. It's been a great game by them. Well, what a performance. Russia looking good then for the final. We'll see in a few days' time. 36-26 winners over Spain. Hope you've enjoyed the game. But for now, from me, Paul Bray, goodbye.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, no problem.